You have no audio.
Actually, I turned off hers, I thought, but
Now it's back.
Got it? Okay.
turn the volume down on your iPad, then I guess maybe it's
I'm not actually logged into my iPad.
Hmm.
So now I'm just logging into that same file on my iPad. It's going. There it is.
Now, is this with FileMaker Go?
This is FileMaker Go 13, hosted on FileMaker server.
And it's connecting to this thing that's hosted on the server.
Yes, this is. I'm running a virtual machine hosting server on my laptop that I carry around.
Gotcha.
Is there a difference in all hardware being equal and the server running better on the Windows platform or a Mac platform?
Not really a difference, all hardware being equal. The big challenge on hardware is it's really hard to get server grade hardware for Mac these days.
Yes.
Yes.
You can get a mini.
Yeah, you can get a mini server, and I'm still not convinced that that hard drive and that you don't have the redundant hard drives and all the other things you would really want in a server. Yeah. For a server that's going to be used by a small business with 10 to 25, maybe even up to 50 users, I don't think it matters.
Yeah.
If you're talking about deploying a server where you're going to have hundreds of users,
You want something.
well, you want real server class hardware. And the other thing is I usually recommend Windows. And that's because the monitoring and performance tuning that you have available in Windows is so much better. So with Windows, you can, capture statistics over time in a nice graphical way and say, okay, on an average day, we're using 40% of our server capacity with 50 users. We're about to double our users. I better add resources to my server as well or get a bigger server, and you can proactively make
Have there been any studies on virtualizing it?
95% of our enterprise customers are running in virtual environments at this point. So as long as your virtual machine has the resource is a well set up VM environment, and your VM has dedicated resources that meet the requirements for RAM and
hard drive.
Not hard drive, RAM and processors.
Oh, processors.
Yeah, you should be fine. Yeah, it's rare that I see anybody running on a physical Windows box anymore. So anyway, here we are on the iPad. I'm a consultant now. I walk around in the gallery. So instead of having I have the artwork and customers, but I don't, have anything about the artist, but I have what are called consultations, and that's me meeting with a specific customer. Let me grab Calvin here, and we'll go in and say, so as he was, in the gallery, he's expressed interest in these works so far, and what I'm going to do is all over the gallery are little cards, with some information about the artwork and a barcode. And he says, oh, I really like that painting. So I can just go in here and tap the scan button on my iPad. And lo and behold, it finds it and it saves it back to this consultation. And I can go click on that. And then I can, again, I'm swiping now in the tab slide control to see, have a framed view of that. But I've got Snoopy here. And the other thing is I can detect rotation. So if I change how I'm looking at this, I get a different view.
And that art gallery guy must have been really upset with what you gave him.
Yeah, isn't it amazing what we can do? If I just tap right into that painting and tap in again, I can go into our virtual gallery. And this is to really give the customer, and this was, our smart developers at FileMaker thinking really hard about, well, let me make this feel more like a real app. What can I do with FileMaker Go 13? So, well, if you don't want to have breakfast with Snoopy, maybe you would rather put Snoopy in your living room. But if, this doesn't look like your living room, maybe, this room is a little bit more like your living room. And my walls aren't beige, they're blue. I don't think that gold frame is great. Maybe I like that one better. Now, let me think. So now you can get a real idea of what, the customer can get a real idea of what that might look like in their home.
Is that demo available?
It is not available.
What the hell?
I'm happy to show you a little bit about that layout. It is ugly. But like the reason for this is because it's an actual in production custom solution, and we got licensed to use all the artwork and the files that are in it.
So make up some artwork
For our for our use. But
yeah.
to a large extent, all of the things that we've done in these solutions are in the new starter solution as well. So you can really dive in and see some of these same techniques in play in the starter solutions. So that's the FileMaker Go quickly.
Can I ask you a question real quick?
Sure.
On the FileMaker Go, does it have to be server that it accesses, or can it be just like regular FileMaker Advanced?
You can host with either FileMaker Server, or you can host peer-to-peer with FileMaker Pro to up to a total of 5 devices, including the host.
Well, I was thinking more in terms of I need to do something in FileMaker Go, and just to demo it, I don't want to fart around setting up the server. I thought I would just, have it show up on my iPhone, grabbing the data out of a database running on my FileMaker 13 Advanced on my laptop.
Yes. Yeah, you can totally do peer-to-peer networking. It works just like you're connecting to server.
Okay, and then that way I can do my demo without having to install server.
Yes.
Perfect. And then I have one last question on FileMaker Go, and I'm sure I'm not the first person that's ever asked this. Android.
We have no plans at this time, and to a large extent, think about who owns FileMaker. As a subsidiary of Apple.
Right. But FileMaker runs on Windows, so.
Yeah, but that's sort of a different.
It's different. You can tell yourself that, but it isn't. Half the phones on the planet are Android.
Yes, half the phones on the planet are Android, but that represents something like 5 different operating systems and dozens of different hardware platforms and sizes.
Right.
Which makes the development much, much more difficult. With FileMaker Go, we know what form factor you're going to have and know exactly what's available in the operating system.
So is Webdirect ever going to go to an iOS or to an Android?
I cannot comment on future product plans.
A Surface Pro is a computer.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So you could actually put a full version of FileMaker, not even Webdirect, but a full version of FileMaker on a Surface Pro.
Yeah.
So the question of, is FileMaker on a tablet? Yes and no.
Yeah.
The Surface Pro will actually.
Yeah, you can buy the full client and go to town. Yeah, and you can develop on it too. But
yeah. I mean, the other way to go.
Blog reports I've read about that were not.
Yeah.
Well, why wouldn't you? The guy talked about that. One of the guys who tried it said, nah.
Yeah, so the last thing is that, any other questions on FileMaker Go?
I have to ask about the badge, though, as well.
The 12.
The 12, we'll get to that in the next part of the demo. So very observant. Thank you for noticing the 12. So now what I'm going to do is switch over to Webdirect. So now for Webdirect, imagine we have partners. They are the artists who we represent at the gallery. And they're all over the world, and they're artists. They're not computer people or technologists. So we can't really rely on them having FileMaker. We can't even really rely on them having great internet access much of the time. They may be going to an internet cafe and using a public computer.
So you just can't rely on them.
Yeah, that's another way to look at it. So, so we wanted a way to communicate with them browser-based, which is where Webdirect comes in. And so this is a portal for artists. So here I'm looking at Anne Bachelier, and I've got the artwork that she's submitted that hasn't yet been approved. I've got the artwork that's currently available in the galleries and what is sold. And then also down at the bottom, I've got a few other things. I've got a slide control that gives me some reporting. So I've got full access to FileMaker charts in Webdirect, and this is a live view of what inventory she has available in total and then in each gallery location. And also how does she do? You know, if we get a new work from her, it sells in about 28 days versus other artists who sell in 30 days. So, you know, that's also, you know, something. And we've got a little bit of communication here where I can say, you know, things have been accepted or, you know, not. A little gear where I can just change her password, log out, and so on. Let me go back to the beginning here. And so now Anne's just finished something, so she wants to submit something new. I'm going to tap on that and figure out what artwork I have here. I think I have another version of Melancholy. I'm just going to hide these for a second. Yes. There it is. Oh, and the last thing I want to do here is I'm going to go to this layout in FileMaker and in Webdirect. You can't tell.
That's the point. Yeah.
That's kind of the point, and that's, you know, part of what's so amazing about it. So I'm going to go back here, and I am in the browser, so I'm going to submit a new artwork, and we'll call this one Melancholy 2. And the medium is oil on canvas. And I think this is great. I want to sell it for $7,500. And now I can drag in an image, drag and drop. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to add it. And I can't. I get a dialogue. So I get, you know, that's a script. Show custom dialogue, or show custom message, show message. Everything's required. So, okay, I need to go actually drag and drop in that artwork. It's now inserted into the container, and I can add it. There it is. I can go grab this again and maybe add a little more description, like best work yet, you know, please, you know, please, you know, please, you know, show in New York City. You know, and I can add in some dimensions if I know what they are. You know, maybe this is 11 by 14 or something. So there it is, and now it's been sent in for consideration. So now let's go back. Now we're going to go back into the New York office. I'm going to go back to the home layout, and one thing you'll notice, that little 12 is now a 13. So what that is specifically is it's just an indicator to the office staff that these are the works, the new stuff that are pending review that we need to do something with. So let me go in and now, well, let's take a look at the review process. So let me go find, so now I'm looking at, let me just sort these. These are all for review. Let me sort them by artist so I can see Anne's work. So there's Melancholy 2 that's been submitted for consideration.
Higher price than the original.
Well, it's better. It's
Right.
best one, yeah.
Yeah, it's best
You know.
one, yeah.
So now I can decide, well, what do I want to do? Let me take a look. So I get, you know, automatically get a couple of views of it right there. Let me acquire this. I like it. You know, and I can also say I want to decline it if I don't. You know, so I'm going to acquire it, and I'm going to, you know, I agree with her. I think we've got some clients in New York that might be interested in it. And then my option, or do I want to take it on consignment or to purchase outright? So I think we'll take it for purchase. And now I can drag in a shipping label. So now I've got over here a handy dandy UPS label. I'm going to drag this right in. And now, let me see if I can get this to do what I want it to do here. Watch kind of the corner of the Webdirect screen. When I go in here and say, send to artist.
Yeah.
There it is. I got a 2, went from a 2 to a 3 here. You know, there it is. Melancholy 2 has been accepted. And now if I go into, click on Melancholy 2, I can say, there's my shipping label. I can drag this out onto the desktop, print it out. Mark it as shipped. Yes, really, I've shipped it. And now I've had that whole communication with the back with the gallery and got the artwork submitted.